What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Worldly Church Girl. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. On today's show, I have best-selling author, entrepreneur, and podcast host, Eddie Thomason. How you doing, sir?
What up? What up? How you guys doing? I'm so excited to be here, Lillian.
You've done a lot since the last time we talked, and
a little bit.
Okay, no, you've done a lot, and I'm so proud of you. I've been following you since then, and and I've been enjoying watching your journey, and I'm really proud of you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
it's
really proud.
It's again following God's will, man. Just kind of we set goals and things, and you pray about it, but obviously prayers don't come true unless you take action yourself, right? You got to walk out in that faith. So it's just in me following that calling that I feel as though God put on my heart, and just taking action, man. Massive action, not knowing what the heck is actually going to be the result, but knowing that God is my God of abundance. So I know it's all going to come because he has access to everything.
Come on now. He's original Wi-Fi internet service.
Amen. Amen.
Now, just for those who don't know your story like I do, I want everyone to get to know you like I do, because you kind of have almost like a rags to riches story, if you will, to be honest, naturally and spiritually so. So I want people to get a feel for you. So I want people to start off telling people about your childhood.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, all right, I'm gonna go way back because I think I said this before, but I can't give people content without context. You got to know where I come from to know that even if I start yelling in this show, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just passionate, okay? But
it's emotionals.
Exactly. But I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I grew up in very, very humble beginnings. My dad left when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it forced my mom to take care of me and my brother on a $13,000 a year disability income. And so when you think about that, we was broke. When you talk about being broke, we was broke, right? And so much so that, I remember a time in my life where we didn't have any running hot water in my house. And it was a time when my mom would literally fill up these huge pots of water, and she, boil these hot pots of water, and then she'll put a little bit into a basin and then mix some cold water in it and put a cup inside of it and send me upstairs and like, this is what you bathe with, right? Because that's just the kind of lifestyle and where we were at the time. And to be honest, I say that because I don't want you guys to feel sympathy for me, because I don't need sympathy. But I want you guys to realize the humble beginnings that I came from, because some people that may be watching this either experienced the same thing or something similar, and you need to know that somebody else has come out on the other side victorious, right? I'm a firm believer in you can't share a testimony without first being tested. And I think my entire life was a part of a test, right? To get to this point where I can actually share with you guys and feel comfortable that I've created victory over these situations and not just let it, allow me to knock me out of life, right? But yeah, I was wondering, that's kind of like my background, where it kind of came from. I had this mindset in my head where a lot of people, I think if you're in a low income neighborhood, and honest, just to be honest, if you're Black, I think you most likely think you got 3 ways to be successful. You either sell drugs, you're some type of professional athlete, or you're some type of professional entertainer, a rapper, a dancer, a singer, or something like that, right? I knew I didn't want to sell drugs. I was never a thug, never claimed I was. And then I can hold a tune, but I'm definitely not a singer by any way, shape, or form. So my thing was football. I was like, I'm gonna go and pursue this career playing football. I wanted that to be my ticket, right? My way out. And I pursued that to the fullest, man. I felt as though I wanted to use that as my crutch to really pay back all the stuff that my mom did for me, all the sacrifices and things that she made. So much so that when I got into high school, I went to a high school that had never had a D1 scholarship offered to any of their students, right? So when I was in that high school, I had a lot of teachers that was like, give that up. It's a pipe dream. Oh, it'll never happen because it's never happened here. I even had one teacher tell me, you have a higher possibility of going to jail or dying before you have a chance of actually accomplishing that goal, right?
A teacher told you that?
Yep. Teacher told me that.
Wow. Wow.
So it's obviously when you hear things like that, it's not the most encouraging thing. But if you're anything like me, when people tell me that I can't do something, it just makes me want to do it anyway. Like that's just how my mindset works. And from there, like, I just kind of I wanted to prove those people wrong, but I also wanted to listen to my coach. My coach was my biggest voice that was inside of my life, big mentor of mine. He just kept on telling me like, "Hey, but you got it. You got what it takes. You're doing what you need to do in a classroom. You got the size. Just keep on working hard. Keep working hard. Keep working hard." Long story short, I became the first male or the first student in high school's history ever to earn a D1 scholarship. And then flash forward 4 years later, right? I was the first guy or male in my family to ever earn a degree from college. I was first male in my family to graduate high school, first of all. And then I was the first male in my family to ever graduate college. So then when you put those things together, we talked about this on the podcast, but my entire mentality is breaking generational curses, right? Like, it doesn't matter the situation you was born into. It doesn't matter the environment you grew up in, the parents that you have. You can choose to make the best out of your life as long as you continue to make small positive decisions that can compound over time. It's not one decision that changes everything. It's those small, seemingly insignificant decisions that you have to make on a positive note every single day that's going to get you to where you wanted to go. And that's what I believe, man. It's all about creating those generational curse breakers who, no matter where their parents came from and what background they have, they can still go out and create success, and they're not going to let that dictate whether or not they're going to fail at life or succeed at it.
Now, how much pressure did you feel being the front runner for your family like that, being the first?
It's funny that you asked that because I felt like my wife, we kind of had a similar conversation in that. She asked me a similar question, and I never felt pressure. I'm being 100% honest with you. And I say that because, and I'm gonna say this next statement, and it's not because my family did not believe in me, but I think the standard in my family was, and the expectations were so low that I didn't have any pressure of like, you have to be the one. Does that make sense? Like, nobody ever made me feel like, oh, you're it. You're the
one that's gonna do this for all of us. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It was more so like I took that burden upon myself. So like, even still to this day, there's nobody that can expect more of me than I expect of myself. There's nobody harder on me than I am on myself, right? So I never felt as though there was like this weight that was on my shoulders, like you have to succeed or you have to do this. I just kind of accepted that burden of, listen, I know what I don't want, right? And everybody around me in my life right now, they have what I don't want. Living paycheck to paycheck, getting, and this is not a bad thing because a lot of incredible people, I never think that life is a bad thing. But you look at a lot of people who have kids way before they were meant to have kids. That was a trend in my family, right? Having kids entirely too early, dropping out of school, all these things. So see all those different pieces, and it was like, all right, I started connecting dots at a young age. I was like, well, I could drop out of school and I can live paycheck to paycheck. I can get multiple people pregnant and be paying child support for my entire life. I can do these things because this is what was happening around me, or I can decide to do the opposite of what I'm seeing around me so I can create different results. Does that make sense? So like I never necessarily felt the pressure of like, oh, you're it, you're the one. But I put that expectation on myself of if this is what I see around me and this is not what I want my life to look like when I'm 20, 25, 26 years old, 30 years old, whatever it is, right? Then I knew I had to start making decisions that were not consistent with what everybody else around me made. I had to do what they didn't do in order for me to get to where they weren't at in life. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Makes absolute perfect sense. And now I'm going to share with you a comment you said to me in the podcast that's kind of going to tie into this.
Right.
You said that something you share with a lot of your students when you make your motivational speech. Anything that you say in your life always ended with, and that's the way I want it to be.
Yep.
When I tell you, I share that with so many people, and the brain matter that I see fly out of their heads
Mm-hmm.
after I say that to them. And it's like, you have no idea the impact
Mm-hmm.
that has made. And I catch myself sometimes. I'll say something and I'll be like, wait a minute, what did he say? And that's the way I wanted to be. No, no,
Right.
no. And I
Right.
switch it. And I'm like, okay. And that is so strong. That is so impactful. I mean, and it goes with everything. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even the minuteness of thing, if that's a word, but it's going to be a word today.
Absolutely.
um, I mean, I'm going to be, I'm just fat, and that's the way I want it to be. No, it's
Mm-hmm.
not.
Yep.
This is just the worst day ever, and that's the way I want it to be. I mean, it goes with everything.
Absolutely.
That is such a powerful period to
Mm-hmm.
every statement. So I want to thank you for that little seed that you planted.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that because I'm dressed like this because I came from a workout. Literally had
Mm-hmm.
sweat, and now I'm in a hot room anyway. But we're gonna rock it out, right? But literally before we left the house to go to this workout, me and my wife went together, and
Mm-hmm.
before we left, my wife was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired." And when I hear statements like that in general, if I hear it from my kids or I hear it from my wife, I hear it from anybody, I'm just like, and that's exactly the way I want it to be. And then she was like, "Well, no, it's not." And I was like, "Well, don't say it, right?" But it's true. I gotta catch myself sometimes, man. Like I went on a I guess a phase where like I'm bigger now. I'm bigger as far as weight wise than I've ever been in life, right? And I always joke
Mm-hmm.
about like as a kid, I've always been a big dude, big guy in general. And
Right.
I would always joke about like, yeah, I'm fat, it's okay, but like I was never actually fat. I was just
In
athletic.
your
I was
head,
I
you
was
thought you were
fake.
fat. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
fat because I can eat 7,000 calories in a day. That's why I was fat.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had to start checking myself, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like again, you say that for so long, and then obviously now I'm not an active athlete anymore. I don't play football as hard as I did way back when. So if you keep on saying that, your words has a huge impact on what you actually manifest in your life. So if you just keep communicating it, and I'm like, dang man, now I got a dad bod. Now I got to do something different about it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
But it's just very true, Lillian. It's, what you say is it has catastrophic effects on whether or not you succeed at what you actually are pursuing or you don't, right?
Yes.
Like if people are saying, like, say for right now, we're unprecedented times, right? We're coming out of a pandemic. It's crazy things that's happening in the world still in general, and the fact that like I don't know if this is similar for where you're at, but in our area, there are people like begging people to come back to work. Like we
Mm-hmm.
need people back at work, but because
Yeah.
people are still able to be on unemployment and things like that, people are deciding not to go back,
Everybody
right?
got
Which is
comfortable. Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, think about people who are getting back into the workforce, and maybe they're, you're thinking to yourself, but like, I ain't gonna get this job. And that's exactly where I wanted to be. Is that how you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be? Do you not want that job? Or do you
Right.
actually think that this is going to be the best step for you in your career? You got to stop
Right.
talking about all the things, like start speaking in terms of what you want it to be. Because then you'll start catching yourself with all these little nuances about why you're not making it. Because whatever you believe is what is actually going to manifest. So if you're saying these statements and it's coming from out of your belief system because it's in your subconscious mind, you got to start checking those statements and getting to a point where it's like, no, that's not what I want. I want this. And you start speaking those things. Like, I'm going to interview for this job and I'm going to get it. And it's going to be the best step in my career thus far.
And
Right?
that's the way I want it to be.
Amen.
It works both ways.
Exactly. That is awesome.
Yeah, so like I said, I want to thank you for that little seed because matter of fact, I called myself last night, but like, oh God, because I just felt so bad, and I'm like, I just can't take this anymore, and my stomach and da 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 da, and I was like, no, no, I'm taking it all back, and I
Right.
flipped it. I was like, I'm not gonna think negatively, but I ain't gonna lie, I still have my moments.
Of
I just
course,
like
we all do.
I ain't run. I ain't gonna act like I just run around all this positivity all the time. But
Of course.
I'll say good 80. At least I try. I try. I try.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, like we're still human, right? Like nobody's perfect. It's only one perfect person that ever walked the earth, right? So
Right.
like we're all gonna make mistakes, but it's just a matter
Mm.
of how quickly can you correct yourself? How quickly can you identify that you made the mistake, and then instead of wallowing in it and taking that one bad mistake and turn it into two, and then
Mm.
like I usually tell this in a matter of days, right? So like you can have a bad day. Everybody can have a bad day. We're human. It happens. But don't let
Mm.
that bad day turn into a bad week. Because if you have a bad week, it'll turn into a bad month. If you have a bad month, you're gonna have a bad year. If you have a bad year, you're gonna have a bad decade. You have a bad decade, you're gonna have a bad life, right?
That's
But like
right.
that's how it all compounds. But if you have a bad day, you got to say like when you wake up tomorrow, it's a new day. Boom. I'm gonna make decisions different today than what I made yesterday in order to get me in the right direction of where I want to go. Because in the
Mm.
end, that's all. I mean, we talked about this all the time, right? But success is not complicated. It's just a series of small positive decisions compounded over time. We're gonna have bad days, but
Right.
don't let your bad days take you completely off this path that you want to be on to create whatever it is in your life that you want to create.
Right. You're not gonna always get a yes. I mean, and you're not gonna always get a no. So just keep going. Just keep striving. Just keep
Exactly.
pushing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did
It's
I
not a
ever did I talk to
huh?
you about like the rocket ship metaphor? Did I ever tell you about
No.
that one?
No, you
So
did not.
I read in a book recently that was it basically talked about when a rocket goes to the moon or a rocket goes into outer space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously when you go from point A to point B, the fastest way to get there is always a straight line, right? That's how quickly people want to go from wherever they are today to whatever their dreams, goals, and everything is that's out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, when a rocket ship leaves, it's not on a straight line trajectory to go straight to the moon. What happens is when a rocket leaves and it goes into the Earth's atmosphere, there's a mechanism that basically, as the rocket tilts too far in one direction, it makes it go back the other way, and then never
Mm-hmm.
goes back to 100% on that straight line. It goes in the opposite direction, and then when it hits a like kind of like a limit test, it corrects itself and goes back the other way. So really, what happens is when a rocket leaves the Earth to get to the moon, you're basically swerving like this back and forth. But every single time, it's like, oh, I'm going too far off the path. I got to correct myself. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're moving in a positive direction, but you're slightly off course, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to another point. You're like, oh, I'm going too far off path. But again, you're still moving in the right direction, but you're
Mm-hmm.
slightly off course. And that's exactly how our life works. We never go from like, hey, this is point A, and then I'm just going to shoot myself to point B, and I'm never going to make any mistakes or anything that's in between. I'm just going to take a straight shot. It's going to happen, right? It's not how
Right.
life works. It's a series of self-correction. You get a little bit further off, you're moving in the right direction, and maybe you saw this shiny object. Oh, there's another job opportunity out there. But you know what? That's not getting me to the entrepreneur status that I really want to have, right? So I need to correct
Right.
myself. I need to go back this way. Oh, in the right direction, but now I met this person who I thought was going to be like everything, anything, and everything for me. But I realized that it's actually a toxic relationship. Oh, I need to correct myself. I need to go back in another direction. And it's a
Right.
series, right? It's a series of correcting yourself to get to where you actually want to go. But as long as you're moving forward and when you make mistakes, you're quickly able to adjust and put yourself back on the right path, and you'll get to where you want to go. Much
Come on
faster
now.
than the people that just go around in circles over and over and over again doing the same dumb stuff.
Okay. That is a good it's a great example. Because I think we all guilty of that squirrel mentality.
Hey, I call myself a serial startup, like a serial startup entrepreneur or whatever. Like I'll
Mm-hmm.
see an idea and I'm like, oh, that'd be great. I could do that. And I start it. And it's like, all right, now I need to pass it off to somebody else to finish it because like I just wanted to start it because I thought it'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it makes perfect sense to me. I think that looks great. But at the
Right.
same time, I think my growth that's happened from the last time we had a conversation to now is that I've started something like say I started a woodworking business. I don't know if you knew this, but I
I saw
started
it.
I started a woodworking business, right? And I was
Uh-huh.
like, you know what? Instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna start this business and whatever else happens, happens. It really started because we were looking to buy a house, so I needed extra income. I was just like, whatever I can do to bring an extra income, I'm gonna do it. And the woodworking business started from that. But then again, like I started doing it. I was like, all right, this is great. I'm gonna rock with him. I'm gonna do this thing. And then I saw something else, and I was like, oh well, man, maybe if I start selling pallets, or if I start doing this, or if I start doing this, and I started kind of getting out of my wheelhouse of just creating quality cutting boards, furniture like dining tables, coffee tables, things like that. And then from there, I was like, you know what? I can't let all these other distractions get in the way. Like stick to this core group of things. This is not because this is what I know, but it's just for the fact of having some consistency and knowing what is going on materials wise and everything else. And then once I scale that to a point where somebody else can come and do those things, then maybe I'll start looking at everything else, right? But I have to focus on one thing first, right? So I can create the success in it. I think it was a podcast. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast. I think his name is Manny Winston. He's down in like Richmond, Virginia area, another successful young Black entrepreneur. And he talked about the acronym for FOCUS, which stands for follow one course until successful. Like that's the acronym for FOCUS. So instead of allowing all of this stuff to get in your way, right, you got to focus on that one thing. Like if you did this one thing right, all these other things will probably come from it. But you just got to do this one thing right in order for everything else to follow suit.
Right. That's funny because I was actually watching she's a social media strategist, and she's pretty much talking about how when you are trying to build up your platform, the biggest mistake people make is trying to be on so many social media platforms at the same time.
Yep.
And they spread themselves so thin that no one really knows where to find them. And that you need to really just focus on a long-term one and a short-term one, meaning like how like this is, kind of considered like a long-term one. And like a short-term one would be like Instagram or something like that. Or Facebook, just basic stories on Facebook. But that's basically the same thing. Focus on one particular craft at a time. Get that mastered. Now go here. Get that mastered. Because you can branch off that mastery once you get it mastered. And actually that branch will produce leaves and berries, which will be your core group, which will bring in more cash flow. But you know what? That's I'm just saying. That's
right. It's all it's all about what you know, right? Like it's funny how I think something I encourage people to understand is you don't know what you don't know. So therefore you need to expose yourself and put yourself in environments where you can learn. Honestly, you can put your ego down and learn. Like you think about apps like Clubhouse, right? I have not spent a whole bunch of time on Clubhouse. I'm be honest. I probably could use it more, but at the same time, I got so much. I'm on there, but I'm not active. Put it that way. Like I haven't logged into the app probably since
you joined.
No, I've been on there since I joined, but it has to be at least a 3 to 4 month span since I've been on the app, like actively looking for it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, but the app itself, you think about all the different content creators and some of the different thought leaders who are providing information for you to learn, right? And not going into a room and having your guards up like, oh, like say if you were trying to learn about social media content or how to grow your business via social media. And like now you got these preconceived notions in your head of what that looks like. And then you jump into like, I don't know, say Billy Jean's Clubhouse, right? I don't know if you know about Billy Jean. I'm a part of his Genius Advantage. He talks all about like how you create ads and things like that. He's incredible. But say you jump into his Clubhouse and you're trying to listen to him talk about some of his strategies and things like that. And it's a little outside the box from what you may have known or may have listened to or whatever else. But I encourage people to realize is if somebody else has results and they're better than your results, submit your ego and figure out what the heck they're doing.
Absolutely.
Because the longer you got that ego up there, the longer you stay stuck and frustrated wherever you are.
Absolutely. If they're making it for a reason.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree. That was the reason why I've been watching this young lady because she started as just a regular YouTuber and now she's a strategist. So it's like
Nice.
Why wouldn't I follow her and figure out what she's doing and, not steal, but borrow
Exactly.
her knowledge. I
Well,
mean,
we're not stealing and borrowing. We're implementing. That's what we're doing.
yes. Yeah, I will take that.
We
Now,
are
speaking of
implementing
podcast,
knowledge.
yes. Speaking of podcasts, you have one as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yes,
The
love.
Curse Breaker podcast.
Yes. Now, tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, so the podcast is very similar to what I talked about when we first opened up, and you wanted me to just share about my story. But it's dedicated to breaking. Sorry about that. Dedicated to breaking generational curses, right?
It
So
bounced over here.
My bad. I didn't want to bounce that over there. But the whole first season is actually based off of my book, which I didn't even realize this until just now. But they're
Yeah,
both.
I thought you did that on purpose.
I honestly did not. I promise you. I literally I'm telling you, I walked in here straight from the gym. So however it was set up, I was set up. That's funny. But the first season is all based off of the book. So like the Unlock Yourself, my book is called Unlock Yourself, How to Earn the Success You Were Born to Create. And that's because I personally believe that we're all born with seeds of greatness inside of us. But it's up to each and every one of us to plant ourselves in environments and inside of organizations, inside of the right association of people, our support systems that will allow us to grow, right? Like that's up to us. I think we're all given a seed. Like God gives us seeds. He gives us talents, right? In which everybody doesn't have the same amount. Everybody is gifted, but gifted in different ways, right? But you got to figure out a way how to nurture that talent, right? You have to figure out how to sow it and start to create a harvest from your talents, right? But we all have those seeds inside of us. So the book is based off of that premise. We all have those seeds inside of us already. We just have to nurture it and and become the person that we were meant to be, not some crazy person that's like you can never get there, right? Because we're all meant to have that. But the entire first season goes through and breaks down that entire formula. So the Unlock Yourself has an acronym inside of it called Unlock You, and it goes through each session or each step to get you to a point in life where you can start to create that life that you really want to have, that success that you're meant to have. And the podcast is based off of that. Now we're getting into season 2. I actually got some good conversations that's going to be coming up actually tomorrow with a company who's looking to basically sponsor the show or try to figure out how we're going to work it together for their young entrepreneurs that they have inside of their it's like a startup program throughout the high schools here in New York State. And the season 2 and forever on is going to be all about bringing on guests who have broken generational curses, who have broken, let's get that word right, who have broken generational curses. And now it's basically sharing their perspective, right? Because here's what I know. Everybody does not connect to my story. Obviously, I have a story to tell, and we all have stories to tell. But the person, like maybe there's somebody who has not necessarily dealt what I dealt with, and like, oh, that's great for him, right? But because there's nothing that they are going through that I went through, it's no sense of transformation. There's no transition. There's no reason for them to feel like I'm inspired. I can do that too, right? But if I bring on other guests who have overcome all kinds of different things, right? From childhood, adulthood, and like going in to create the life and the businesses and the successful endeavors and things that they currently have, then now we can reach a larger audience, right? Different people who have come from different backgrounds, and they can listen to the Curse Breaker podcast and just zone into the fact like I am a curse breaker. No matter if I had a dad that was strung out on dope and was abusive in the home, no matter if I had, I don't know, a family full of doctors that put so much pressure on me, and now we got like everybody that their kids are not necessarily successful because of all that pressure that came downwards, right? Like all of those things are curses, right? The same thing with infidelity. Like I came from a background with my family. It seems like there was a lot of infidelity that happened inside of those in the marriages, right? Whereas though today, I'm not cheating on my wife. My wife ain't cheating on me. You see what I'm saying? Like all those things are like you have to identify what has like kind of plagued, right? Kind of generation to generation has kind of like plagued your family. And
Mm.
until you see somebody who have grown up in those environments, they've seen the trend inside of their families, and yet they still overcome it, and they're an example that changes their family trajectory forever. Like those are the people that are going to be on the show, sharing their backgrounds, sharing their stories to help other people who are honestly just lost. They have no idea or no belief that they can overcome it because they don't know anybody who has, right?
They don't see any representation like them. And
Exactly.
and,
Yep.
and you're gonna bring that representation. That's what's
Exactly.
up. That's what's up. So when's the new season start?
That's a great question. We're trying to have something set aside for the start of the new school year because
Okay.
everything is kind of going inside with, a lot of work that I do is with high school students as well as college age students, right? So we trying to put something in alignment with when school starts so that people can start to put on these podcasts and things when they're driving to school for orientations and while they're at school and things from that perspective. So that's what we have as a soft date on our head, but it's a lot of planning and organizing that has to go on in the background before we release any official dates.
Okay. All right. So I want to let me know when.
Yep.
I've already subscribed to your channel, so I'll probably find out anyway. But
Right.
but still, let me know when.
Absolutely.
Now, as far as your book is concerned, Unlock Yourself, you actually
Mhm.
have a journal that goes along with it.
Yes, there's a workbook. I give it for free. So when you get the book, it's a link that's inside the book that calls you to just go and put, like basically go download the free workbook. It's a PDF version, and you can either
Mm-hmm.
fill it out online, like while you're actually sitting in front of a computer, you can type your answers into that sheet, or you can print it off like me. There's this. I don't know why people can't really explain it, but there's test upon test upon test and study upon study when you print something out and you start writing your answers down in pencil and paper compared to a digital screen, you just retain so much more, right?
I
Um,
agree.
and that's the primary reason why I wrote the book because there's a whole chapter dedicated to this, but there's this premise or this idea that people think knowledge is power, and we've heard it millions of times. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge and power. But I
Mm.
always thought that there's a word missing from that phrase, and that's applied.
Yes,
Applied knowledge is power, right? Because if you can have all the knowledge in the world, you can know so much that's up here, but if you never apply any of those things, then you don't got it, right? Like you're not going to create anything for yourself. So I
hmm
wanted to create that free workbook to encourage people to apply the knowledge that they're getting from it, right? To start actually sitting down and writing down their dreams, writing down their goals, writing down the people in their life that really encourage them and inspire them and push them and motivate them to be better than what they currently are, right?
hmm
So then that way you can always refer back to it. There's a some type of weird connection that happens when you write these things down on paper and then you start to it basically feeds into your subconscious and it makes your subconscious look for more people just like that so that in that way you can really start to surround yourself with the right network of people in the right core group so you can really take advantage of everything that you have to offer inside of this world.
yeah. It makes you hold yourself accountable.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Like I remember you saying that too. That was another seed that you threw on me. Now, now, what is the thing that you love most about what you do?
Man, that's a loaded question because I feel like I do so much now. It's not like
You
it's
really
not just
do.
speaking anymore. Um, the favorite thing about what I do. That's the
hmm
question, right?
Yes.
My favorite thing has to be the legacy. I always come back to legacy,
hmm
and that's what motivates me and drives me a lot. Like instead of hitting my snooze button in the morning, I wake up and I think about like, do I want my kids to have a habit of just hitting the snooze button and going back to sleep? Because I got two
Oh,
guys. I
oh.
I think when we first talked, did I have both my sons yet, or did I only have one?
I want
I
to
think I
say
met.
you had one and one was on the way.
Yeah, so we officially got two now. So and then they're
Okay.
2 and 1 years old. So
Yeah.
so I think about those guys, man, and I think about like I heard at a conference once that whatever you do as a parent, right? Whatever dreams you accomplish individually, whatever you do to build the life for your family, your kid, it becomes the ceiling. That's your ceiling, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
However, it also doubles as the floor for your kids to start from, right?
Mhm.
So what I love about what I do is everything is fueled into how can I put my sons in a better position so that whenever I'm not here, because it's going to happen, right? You can't avoid
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
That they're in a better position to go pursue their dreams, their goals, and they have the resources untapped so that they can really go do it, right? Instead of feeling like they really had to build everything from scratch or they really had to just claw and pick and try to get to where they wanted to go, right? Like
Right.
I don't want it to be easy for them. I don't want it to be a cakewalk because I don't think that develops character. But I think if they had the dream, like say if they wanted to start a business or if they had some crazy idea or invention that they wanted to invest in, I don't want them to have to always depend on somebody else in order for that to become a reality. If I can do what I can do now to create and set them up in a position in life to where as though they can go and do what they want to do to the
Right.
fullest to their fullest potential. That I think that's what's most important to me. That's what I love about what I do. Is because it's a reminder every single day. Um,
Right.
that again, my dad is working as hard as he can to leave a legacy for us. A
Mhm. Right.
legacy that not only we'll remember, but hopefully
Mhm.
my grandkids will remember, and my
Mhm.
grandkids will remember, and my grandkids will remember,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Because the
Right.
Bible said you should take care of generations, right? You should be passing these things on for generations, and
Mhm.
that's a primary reason why I wrote the book, man. Like once long after I'm gone, that's still going to be here teaching them lessons that I won't be able to physically teach them anymore. But they can pick up that book and always be connected to dad, or always be connected to whenever I have grandkids. Oh, that's your granddad right there. Read that book. It's
Right.
going to get you to where you need to go. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like,
Right. He knows some stuff. Now, someone asked, uh, do you feel that abuse is a learned behavior?
I feel like abuse is a learned behavior. That's a great question. I can only speak off of experience, right? Because this is something that I used to struggle with just mentally. Because
Mm-hmm.
my mom came from a background of abuse, right? Inside of her home. Like my mom would tell me stories, even still to this day, of her mom and dad like literally getting in fist fights, like they've cut each other with bottles, knives, all kinds of stuff, right? So my
Mm-hmm.
mom grew up in this very aggressive, chaotic environment. And then she marries my dad, who never cut her with a knife, but he would basically just get drunk, belligerent, and he would be physically abusive, right?
Right.
And I used to struggle for a long time, man. Like I used to think, like, is that something that's just like passed on, like generation to generation? Like, am I one day just gonna wake up and be like, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
I'm
cut
gonna
somebody.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Right.
And what I've learned is no, like you can't accept the failures of your family's past as your future uh results. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like you
Yeah.
can't do that. So like in a sense, yes, I think obviously if a kid sees abuse all the time, but that's the other thing. My mom, although she lived in those situations, my mom is the most gentle person in the world. My mom don't want to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is
Right.
one of the most natural lovers in the world. Like, just come here, like the wholesome Southern black woman. Like, come here, baby. Like, just give me a hug. Everything
Now
gonna be
come here,
good.
baby.
Let me feed you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think it's a learned thing. I think obviously there's examples that are set, and again, it's things that's leaking into your subconscious mind. If you feel as though like you live in a household like as a male, right, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
the other male role model that's in the household is just somebody that is just abusive and everything else, you can subconsciously assume like that's how you're supposed to be when you get older. I think that there's some truth to that. But in the end, I'm a firm believer in you can't use somebody else's failures as your own expectation. So like, although I seen that in my own home, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna wake up one day and start beating my wife, right? It's
Right.
just not gonna happen. I
Right.
know. I also saw the aftermath of it. Like I know the pain and the suffering that that put on my mom, and I never wanted to be the cause of that pain and suffering. Never,
Right.
right? So
Right.
I never put myself in a situation where though that'll ever be an issue. So it's just, I mean, I know that was a long-winded answer, but I
No,
think
you're fine.
I don't think it's necessarily a learned thing, but at the same time, I could understand somebody arguing that, oh, my dad abused people, or since my dad abused people, then I'm going to abuse people, and then it kind of just keeps getting passed down. But here's the thing:
Hmm.
I think I may have said this in the podcast. I don't know for sure, but most people say like, oh, these things run in the family, like uh, abusers run in the family, alcoholics run in the family, drug abusers run in the family. And I always had this phrase. I was like, you know what, you can say that, but you know what your family needs. You need somebody to say like, oh, it ran in the family until it ran into me. You can be the change. You can
That's
be the
right.
person that says like, although all that happened for generations and generations, it stops here. I'm going to make a decision to do it differently. And then now your kids and the kids after that are going to see a positive example of what it's supposed to look like and not what it looked like in the past that you had to endure. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. You actually tied it all up. Two questions all in cute little bow. One cute little Christmas bow.
Put a little on there. We're good.
Oh, okay. And I honestly believe that because I've seen so many times where, especially like in talk shows, where someone's sitting there going, "Well, my dad, did this to me, and this, that, and other, and that's why I'm in these streets, and that's why I'm a
Mhm.
criminal. That's why I'm in and out of jail." You made that decision on your own.
Mhm.
You're a whole grown man,
Right.
or a whole grown woman. You don't have to live that way. You didn't have to let your life turn out the way it did because of whatever your past dictated to you. So
Right.
I completely agree with you wholeheartedly. Absolutely.
There we
So
go.
yeah, my kids are real quick going, I get that from you. Don't be blaming that on me.
Exactly.
You do that because you just do that, and that's not my fault.
Exactly. No, I'm a. So here's the other thing that I'm a big proponent of, and some people ain't gonna like this, but hey, I mean, it just is what it is. You got to start
Hmm.
taking some personal ownership, man. Like, take personal responsibility for your own actions and your own attitude. There are two things in life
Hmm.
that we can control. Two things. That's
Yes.
our actions and our attitudes. Period.
Hmm.
Actions and our attitudes. So even like the person who you become is not necessarily based on your circumstances, it's who you become, how you react to those circumstances that's going to create the person that you want to be, right? You can allow circumstances to take you out, and you can blame other people for it, point the finger and be like, oh, it's because of you, it's because of that. I encourage people, every time you want to point a finger, I want you to sit down and think to yourself, is there anything I could have done differently that probably would have basically
Change
influenced
that outcome. Yeah.
exactly influence the situation to change the outcome? Because I'm just personally I'm getting very uh fatigued, let's put it that way, very fatigued of people who come to me, or maybe they're just venting on social media. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that because this person did this, now my life is like this, and this is why I've never even been able to do this, and blah 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 blah. And it's like that. I mean, like, I understand you have a situation, everybody has a situation, but you could have chose to do some things differently that would have put you in a completely different spot in life. Okay, like I'm personally I'm just
Listen, you
tired,
darn near
man.
want to just, this is your fault.
Exactly.
Especially if you stayed in it. If you stayed in that slop, this
Yes.
is your fault.
Yes.
Now, it's one thing if it happened and you got out of it and you're like, I
Hmm.
can't believe this happened. And then like, you know what? I'm sorry, homie, that happened to you.
Right.
This sucks. But if it just keep happening and it keep happening in that same situation,
Right.
listen,
Right.
this all you now.
Exactly.
You
You
deserve
on your
every
own.
piece. You deserve every piece of this.
Right. Exactly.
Lord, forgive me if that's wrong, but
No,
but
man.
it's
I mean,
like,
like,
my Lord.
you can't. It's that's the definition of insanity, though, right? Like, if people keep on making the same decision over and over and over again, and they expect a different result because it's with a different person, or it's in a new state, or it's in a new job, but you just keep on doing the same old stuff all over again, and you keep on getting this result of fired or heartbreak or eviction. It's not the state, it's not the company, it's not the relationship, it's you, right? Like,
The common denominator.
Exactly. You have to start making changes, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the beauty of the life that we have, right? That's the beauty
Mm-hmm.
of how God made us, giving us grace and understanding that, hey, we ain't the brightest bulbs in the box, right? We all make mistakes. And
Mm-hmm.
God is like, hey, listen, every single day you can start all over again. And
Yeah.
and that's like, again, you start making decisions, you can be at rock bottom, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you slowly start making positive decisions, then it's going to compound into something better than where you are, right? Like,
Right.
even like, sometimes I go on a small bit of a tangent, but you think about a simple decision of maybe somebody who wants to get in better shape, right? And you got, like, it's like it's a series of choices. It's like, okay, if I want to get in better shape, do I eat this bag of chips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know, like, do I buy a new TV? And you might think like, oh, these two things have no actual correlation, but like, maybe the person that bought a brand new TV, it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna come home and watch probably an additional hour and a half of TV every single day. And then the guy
Mm-hmm.
that was like, you know what? I'm not gonna eat this bag of chips, right? He decided against the chips, and that was the only thing he cut out of his diet. Of all the things, even the sodas, the steaks, everything else, he was just like, I'm stop eating chips, right?
Right.
And then
Right.
the next thing you know, it's like, all right, that person that bought the TV, a week later, it's like, all right, I went from watching an hour and a half of TV to now watching, I don't know, 3 hours of TV, right? Because I got this
Mm-hmm.
brand new 75-inch screen. I made this investment. I'm a use this investment.
I'm
Like,
gonna
I'm gonna get the
utilize
most of
this
this.
TV.
Exactly, right? Whereas now the other person was like, you know what? I stopped eating chips, and I saw a little bit of progress over this last week, right? I
Mm-hmm.
lost 2 pounds. I lost two
Right.
pounds, right? But now, because of that, he lost 2 pounds. He's like, all right, well, what else can I cut out? Maybe I can cut
Mm-hmm.
out my soda intake. I'm not drinking Mountain Dews no more, right? But
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, all right, I'm not drinking no more Mountain Dews. And then the guy with the TV, he's like, all right, well, I'm a pick up another show. Like, I not only do I like Snowfall, but now I like, I don't know, Shark Tank, and I'm gonna watch more Shark Tank, right? Because I can binge out on all these Shark
Right.
Tank. So now
Right.
you start to see these two things diverge. Like, up here, it looks like it has absolutely no effect, right? But
Right.
when you start to get like 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months down the road, you start to see
Right.
these two people's lives go in complete different directions. The guy that was over here that said, I'm just gonna stop eating chips. Now
Right.
he lost 50 pounds. He inspired his wife because he stuck to what he said he was gonna do. It was just a
Mm-hmm.
small decision of not eating chips. And then this other guy over here, he now
Game
watches
down.
eight. Yeah, exactly. He gained 50 pounds. He watching 8 hours of TV. He got marriage
Mm-hmm.
problems because sleeping in his bed. He slept on a couch because he was watching too much TV. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's like it all
Right.
starts in these small, seemingly insignificant decisions. But
Mm-hmm.
those decisions compounded over time is either going to lead you to the fat guy that's now getting a divorce, or the guy that's truly happy with who he is and inspiring other people around them to be who they're meant to be as well, right? But
Right.
it's a
Right.
series of taking responsibility of your small actions every single day. If you can take advantage of these small individual actions, then you're going to
Mm-hmm.
get to where you actually want to go, compared to just going in the other direction and not having any success at all.
Back to that rocket ship.
Exactly.
You gonna do like this or you gonna do like this?
Right.
She going to Mars.
Right, exactly.
Nowhere near the moon.
No, the worst place is just getting lost somewhere in the middle. Like, you ain't even got a destination. You just, oh, I'm floating in space. I don't even know what's gonna happen out here. I'm just out here floating in space. and then you lose
Just
resources, you run out of
mm-hmm.
food, you run out of fuel, you run out of everything, and then you just exist.
Now you run out of oxygen, just gone.
Exactly. There you go.
Wow. Wow. You know what? Now, what advice would you give to someone who's watching right now that's dealing with generational curses right now?
Biggest advice is we used to have a phrase in college, right?
Mm,
Where we used to say like, okay, so many different people in our division that won the conference, right? Our conference was not dominated by any one team. It's like literally every single year it could have been any of the teams could have won division. That could have been division champs, right? So
mm-hmm.
we adopted this mantra, I guess. We used to say, why not us? If
Mm,
Monmouth can do it, why not us? If uh, Central Connecticut can do it, why not us? Right? And that became like our mantra. Like if all these other people can do it, why not us? And that's what anybody that's dealing with generational curses, right? You heard some of the things that I had to deal with growing up as a kid. My question to you is now that you know that you can overcome it, because I have, and I'm no better than you. I'm not giving any additional resources to you. I'm not giving any special talents or anything like that. You have all those things that you need as well. Everything that you need, you already have within your grasp. My question to you is, why not you? Why not you be the difference maker? Why not you be the curse breaker in your family that's saying, you know what? I don't care that my parents were alcoholics. I don't care that I went through foster care. I don't care that all these things happen. Why can't I be the one that makes a change in my family for the better? And
yes.
then my biggest thing for you, my biggest advice for you is surround yourself with people who are headed in the direction of life of where you want to go. You can't have this statement of why not us, and you have this dream, but say you want to play in the league just like I did. You want to go
Mm,
play in the NFL. Then you can't hang around people who not playing sports, who basically, all they want to do is play Call of Duty and video games or whatever else, right? Like you got
mm,
to find a group of people who are also committed to that goal, because a rising tide raises all ships, right? You're gonna find yourself in that group, and then every time you feel like you wanna veer off, that's gonna be the people that keep you back on track, because they're gonna be like, hey, bro,
amen.
listen, we going to the league, dog. If you're gonna be out there doing that dumb stuff, trying to sling on the corners and all that other stuff, then I don't know if we could be associated with you. You see what I'm
Right,
saying? So it
right,
makes you
right.
make that decision in your head consciously now of like, you know what, you're right. I'm reminded. I gotta go. I'm going to this direction, right? I'm reminded. Oh, I see this girl over here. Oh no, bro, I'm gonna bring you on back, dog. I'm gonna bring you on back so that you can stay focused on what you actually want to accomplish in life. So that's my biggest thing. Why not you? And then surround yourself with the people that set in the direction that you want to go.
All right. Now, how can people find you? You know, you're such a dope brother, but how can people find you?
Obviously, you can find me on LinkedIn. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I would say I'm honestly in this stage of my life, just because of where the business is. I spend a lot of time on Instagram, but more on my woodworking page than my speaking page. So for
Mm-hmm.
speaking, LinkedIn. For other just everyday life stuff, most likely you want to follow me on Instagram. It works. So,
All
but
right.
that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And here's what I tell people all the time: don't put me on a pedestal. You may have heard me say some things today and everything else, but I don't even know. I'm no better than you. I've just made more positive decisions over time to get me to where I am today. Right? Don't put me on a pedestal and say like, "Oh, I can't talk to that guy. I'm intimidated." Whatever else.
He's too
Listen,
deep for
if I
me.
if I can help, I will help. That's what I'll say.
Amen. And very true. Very true. Okay.
That
Last
is awesome.
question. If you could have any song be your theme song when you walked into a room, what would it be and why?
Man,
Look at you
you
spinning in
come
your
yeah, I
chair.
was about to say you coming with these extra weighted questions. If I had a
Not,
theme
not
song.
at first you was all deep and extra. And I'm just like,
Sheesh, that's tough, man. I feel it's so many songs, so many songs. I'm gonna have to. I'm stealing your question. I'm gonna ask it to my wife as well. Literally as soon as I get out of here. Um, if I had a theme song,
When you walked into a room, what would it be and why?
I'm old. I'm an old soul, right? So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that keep on coming back across my mind over and over and over again is September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Hold up. How you go from Dragon Ball Z? I'm a big old kid. I trip people. I make them laugh. Ha ha for my own pleasure. But I'm an old soul. I listen to some
I
Earth,
am.
Wind, and Fire.
I am. Like,
That is okay. You talking about doing like this?
it's yeah.
Oh.
I'm like it's a lot of different pieces, man. Like when you start like obviously when you start unpacking a person, it's a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
my mom raised me. My mom had me when she was 37 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the music that I listened to up until really high school, when I had autonomy to listen to whatever I wanted to listen to, it was all my
Mm-hmm.
mom's. I was listening to oldie but goodies, man. I was listening to the OJ's. I was listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire, Stevie,
Yeah.
Ray. Like those those was the
Yeah.
songs.
You was just a
Aretha
cussing.
Franklin, Kurt Franklin, like
You had albums. Wait a minute, where you had to, like this, hold them like this.
exactly.
I mean, I did too, so I know you're talking about holding like this. Don't you put your
Yep,
fingerprints on there?
exactly. So for
Yeah.
me, I was like, if I had to pick one, because I feel like Earth, Wind, and Fire, like the song September itself,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is my vibe as a person. And it's a
Okay.
song like if I hear September playing anywhere, I'm up. I'm like, oh
You
snap, this is
vibing.
my
You're like, oh
and
shoot.
people, young people in the room looking at me like, how do you even know this? And the old people in the room like, how do you know this?
Right. You just in the middle. And you like, how do you not know this? And to the
Right,
young
exactly.
people, and you the old people, why wouldn't I know this?
Oh my gosh. But yeah,
That is too funny.
that has to be it, man. Earth, Wind, and Fire, September. I love that song. It's one of my favorites. It's the song. It's also the song that me and my wife walked out to after our
Oh,
wedding. So like after the actual ceremony, and they announced us like, hey,
for the first
welcome.
time. Mm-hmm.
Yep, but not at the reception. At the actual ceremony when we walked off the altar.
Oh,
We played September and danced down the aisle. It was incredible. It was the best
no,
thing in the
y'all
world.
didn't. Oh, your pastor was cool.
Oh yeah, we was good. We was good to go. And we had
Oh,
so here's the thing though. We didn't just play the song.
mm-hmm,
We had the track in the background
mm-hmm.
and a saxophonist was playing the
The
actual
riff.
word, yeah, the rhythm of it. So
Shut up.
we were golden. This was incredible.
Shut up. Okay.
We was
Okay.
live. We was turned. We was turned.
Yeah,
That was a
it
great day.
was. Oh, your wedding party was not ready for y'all.
Nope, they was not.
Get out
We
of
went back
here.
and looked at the video, like obviously
Uh-huh.
because we had to take video. You go back and you watch the video of like everybody that comes out after you and everything else. And I knew some
Mm-hmm.
of my aunts because that's just my guys. But then like you
Right.
see some of the like the bridesmaids and they're like, I don't really know what to do right now. So I'm just gonna duck my head and keep on walking.
Let me use this bouquet.
But it was a
Oh
great
my
time, man.
God.
Like it was our wedding. We still talk about our wedding today. And even when we
Mm,
see people who were at our wedding, it was like, bro,
mm.
your wedding was live. I was like, yeah, no, that's just
That's how
God's
we
work
do,
moving
huh?
right there, right?
That's how we do.
Exactly.
That is so what's up. Well, you know what? As always, you are you're such a good time. You educate, you give me something to walk off with, and you know what, you make me laugh. So I cannot thank you enough for doing this for a second time and doing this live face to face.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the call of saying I'm gonna go live and not avoiding it and being like, you know what, I'm gonna dive in this thing full fledged because you're doing great, man. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I dodged it for a while now, a
You
good
did.
while.
You
I want
did.
to say almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost a good year. I ran a good race. I had some good running shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
hey, the Lord
But they
runs a
caught
lot
up to you.
faster. Oh,
Exactly.
he had more stamina than I did.
Right.
I got winded.
Right.
He tripped me like you trip your wife.
Come here, where you going? You're
Okay,
gonna do
Lord.
those videos, right?
Okay, yes, Lord. I'm sorry.
That is awesome.
Oh my God! But thanks
Yeah, no
again for
problem.
being on here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You know, thank you. Thank you, Eddie, for being on the show and dropping your words of wisdom. As always, you are a dope brother, and I cannot thank you enough for being on my show. Did you know Worldly Church Girl is going live? As a matter of fact, you can see this very episode on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. And trust me, you want to see the live version because there's things on there that you don't want to miss. And if you would like to be on Roller Church Girl, go to www.worldofchurchgirl.com, shoot me an email, and let's see what we can do with that thing. And as always, thanks for joining your one and only Worldly Church Girl.